Okay, I have my I have my oil super hot, 230 degrees. Now I did my oils slightly hotter because my lye water has cooled down a little bit. So that's why I did my oils just a little bit hotter. So I'm going to slowly pour in my lye water. I'm just using my spoon to break it so it doesn't splash. Lye is very, very hot and it can burn you, so be careful. Then immediately rinse out your lye bucket. That way the family doesn't accidentally get into the lye bucket. Now we're going to take our stick blender and start mixing. Okay, now we're at trace. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to blend it just a little bit more just to get it going. All right, looks good. Now I'm going to take my disposable shower cap, put it on the top just to keep the heat in. And I'm going to wait for this to start bubbling over. While we're waiting for this, we're going to get our goat milk prepared. I have water, distilled water in here, and I'm going to put my goat milk in. And just stir it up and get it dissolved. It's not going, okay, it's not volcanoing yet, so I'm going to go ahead, it is really thick, and get it mixed up again and see if I can get the hot process volcano started. If after 10 minutes your soap does not start to volcano, put it in the microwave, watch it extremely carefully, and in 20-second increments, heat it up until you start seeing the center poof up and start to boil. If you don't watch it carefully, it can boil over in the microwave. I've had that happen before. But you can get the process going a little bit quicker if you just throw it in the microwave and zap it for a minute. All right, mine didn't start going, so I threw it in the microwave. Now I'm at 199 and we'll see if it'll get going. It's almost there. I think my lye water cooled down just a little too hot, or just a little too cool. All right, there it goes. I popped it in the microwave for just another 20 seconds and that was enough heat to get it going. I'm at 213 degrees. I'm going to stir it down so it doesn't boil over. When you make hot process soap, you want at least 2.5 to 3 times the amount of soap. Your bucket needs to be bigger than that. There, now we got the process going. Oh, it looks nice. Okay, I'm gonna blend it with my stick blender. Now the reason this is called stick blender hot process soap is because the stick blender helps get the soap batter going quicker so that it turns into soap faster, and then you don't have to sit and wait for an hour or two with like you do with a crock pot. Usually it's like an hour, hour and a half with a crock pot, but with a stick blender, the soap gets going quicker, and then you can have it done in about 20 to 30 minutes. Some people say they do it in 10 minutes, but I've never made it that fast. I've never made it as fast as 10 minutes. Stir it down. Make sure you stir clear down to the bottom. Okay. Then I'm going to stir, make sure I get everything down in the bottom. Okay. Now it's coming up again. So I'm just letting it cook for just a minute on its own. Just keep stirring and stick blending until it stops volcanoing. When it stops volcanoing, your soap is complete. Almost there. Everything stirred down. We'll see. Sorry about the barking dogs. My neighbors refuse to be respectable neighbors and stop their dogs from barking. But it's super hot in here today, so I wanted to have the windows open to keep it cooled down just a little bit. All right, I think we're at soap. Look at that beautiful jelly-like soap. That is what it should look like. See that beautiful glossy color? Oh, wow. All right, now, this is too hot to put my goat milk in yet. We need to let it cool down to around 185 degrees. So I'm just gonna let this sit for 15 or 20 minutes to cool down and stir every 3 or 4 minutes so that the stuff on top, the soap on top, doesn't get hard. This soap is completely made. I can wash my hands with it right now if I wanted to, but it makes a better bar if you let it sit for a week or two to dry out. It just makes a nice, harder bar. All right, we're gonna let that cool. All right, my soap has cooled down. Looking good. I'm just gonna give it a couple more stirs, just get a little bit more cool. Now, why don't I have gloves on? Because this is already soap, so it's perfectly safe to use. It's just warm. It is warm, so be careful. You could still possibly burn yourself, not horribly, but just a little bit. You wouldn't get 3rd-degree burns or anything. And then I'm stirring in my goat milk. Love goat milk in my soaps. Okay, I'm going to pour it in my silicone molds now. You'll notice this one is dirty for a reason. I made this same exact recipe yesterday. Shared it on my live show on my other YouTube channel, Living on a Dime, and we sold out, so I'm making another batch because it was so incredibly popular. So I'm just not going to even clean that mold because it's the same exact soap and it's just on the edges. So it's not going to hurt anything. Whoa, sort of missed that one there, didn't I? pushing it in there to get holes out. Get it all even. Now, like I said, I'm gonna let this sit in the mold 24 hours. You don't have to let it sit 24 hours. I mean, you could, as soon as it's hard and not soft anymore, you can cut it, which usually takes about 4 to 6 hours at room temperature, about 2 hours in the freezer. Or you can let it sit overnight. Any of those will work. And I'm just spreading it in my mold. Get all nice and even. Get it all nice and even, and now I'm going to tap it down. This gets it all filled in so there's no holes in any of your soap anywhere. Now we're going to let this harden, and then we're going to come back and cut it.